Good morning, everybody. It's January 16, back out the house. Yesterday was Diego's birthday. Happy birthday, Diego. He turned the big 2-1. So we spent part of the day with them doing stuff, and Valentina and I came out here and just looked at a few things at the house and came up with some decisions, and I'm back out here to work again. So I'm going to try to do some concrete work on the back wall behind the wood stove and keep going on the shelving. It's still kind of cold. I got the heater running, got things going in there, so hopefully I can get going. It's kind of chilly. It's always hard to get going on the concrete too, but once we get going, we'll get going.
Guys, I decided not to film much today. Pretty much everything I've done, you've already seen me do. Today I cleaned this, grouted it, and I cut my first few shelves that are going to go up. This is in the closet. But I read the directions, says you're supposed to let grout dry for 16 hours before you seal it. And I want to do it right. I could just go ahead and go and just do it, but I don't know. I wanted to make sure it's sealed. It's in the bathroom. I don't want anything leaking through. I finished this today. This will be great for little things, shelving and stuff. So you're in the bathroom, but drywall will be on this back side, and then we'll just paint this all and that'll finish it off. And then I did this again too. I have a feeling, I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'll probably take it off to let it dry, but I don't know how high it is and if I'm going to try to go all the way tomorrow or not. We'll see. Anyway, that's pretty much all. I got to let that dry and cure before I seal it tomorrow. And I'm supposed to let it seal for a while too, but I think I'll just seal it, wipe it off a little bit, and get to putting shelving tomorrow. But anyway, that's it for now. I will see you guys the next time I'm out here.
Morning, everybody. It's January 17. It's almost 10:30. I filled this up with water this morning. It's the first time this has happened. It tipped in the back of my truck. I tie it up with a little bungee, and somehow I guess I just took a corner a little too fast and got back here, so I only have a little bit of water. I do still have some in the house because I want to do some more concrete on the back of that wood stove today. And we got some tile stuff we need to seal and do some shelving. So I think I'll be doing all three of those. And I think I'm going to start with the seal because it says it's supposed to dry for a few hours. And because it's just a little spot, you'll see, I'll show you guys in a minute. I'll do that, seal it, then leave it and go do some concrete work probably. Then come back only less than an hour later and start doing my shelving over it. It's not super important that it sits there for 3 to 5 hours. All right, and it's been warming up. Boy, it's been warming up. I think got up into the 50s yesterday down here, and it's 40 something right now. So nice. I'm still running my heater inside the house and getting it up into the 60s by the time I'm leaving. So my sweater's coming off sometime during the day. All right, let's get to work. This is the spot that I'm doing because I'm going to be putting shelving up here. So I wanted to get this sealed and done because the first shelf is actually going to lay pretty close to being on the ground. I cleaned that. I couldn't tell that there was still a film left on there. It looked pretty clean yesterday. So I got to clean this up and then seal it. Okay, guys, I don't know how to seal grout. I looked it up and I don't know. I think I want to seal the tile too, not just the grout, but I think the tile, the seal would only be just to kind of give it a nice sheen or whatever. It's probably already pretty sealed. So what I did was I went over and looked at Valentina's paintbrushes because it says use a brush or a sponge or a clean rag or something, and I found this small little paintbrush, and I thought, how about I just kind of soak the grout pretty good here, and then I'll go over with a clean rag and just kind of do the tile part. This also says that you're supposed to, so when I looked at the grout stuff, how to apply it, I was reading the directions. It said let it cure for 16 hours before you do anything. Then I read the sealer,
And it says allow 24 to 48 hours for the sealer to be on the new installs. So we'll probably need to do that when we do the big part of this job. But I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to apply this and then wait another 48 hours to put shelving in. I'm going to just apply this and then go do some concrete work over there on the behind the wood stove, which is going to not take me super long. Maybe an hour, maybe less. So this is not going to dry for no 24 or 48 hours. It's going to dry like an hour. And this is not going to be having any exposure to anything, so it's not like it's going straight into use. We're not living in it or on it, and I'll put this on, and then by the time I get back out here the next time, it's going to be more than 24 hours at least. The grout does seem to be absorbing it. It says if it absorbs it, put another amount on there. So that's just this little paintbrush. That worked pretty good going over the grout, and I just went straight out of the bucket. I have a clean rag here. Well, pretty clean. I think this can just kind of spread the excess that's laying around over this tile. I think the main reason for this is just to keep it from staining. The grout is obviously to really seal it so you don't get a bunch of water seeping in and stuff, but tiles just to keep it from staining. All right, so we're going to leave that sit there for a little bit while I go do some cement work and concrete work, and we'll be back to do these shelving that I started pre-cutting yesterday. So I don't know if this will show it or not, but it didn't go. I only did about half. Only went about half full, so I'm not going to move this up. I'm just going to do another load on this and try to fill up to somewhere up in here. And then the next time I'm here, we'll try to get it all the way to the ceiling. All right, guys, this is about what I'm going to mix today. I think that should get me fairly close to the top. Every time I do this, I don't put a mask on, and I really should. It doesn't last a long time, but as you'll hear me sniffling, I get a little bit of dust in my nose. I just wanted to show you quickly. I'm not gonna... You don't have to watch me do this again. But I wanted to show you how I'm doing this now. When I was doing the lower mounts, I was just taking this blade here and taking up and dropping in one by one. Down, it's just too high to keep going up and down the ladder. So what I'm doing now is I'll take this little paint bucket thing that I'll be throwing away when I'm done. And I put probably two to 2.5 scoops in there. Then I take this up. At first I was trying to just do this, but there's not enough. Well, might work. But there's not enough space for, so the most part I'm taking my hands and just grabbing a handful and dropping it. And this water I used is water that I caught outside off the roof, and it had ice in it. So my hands are going to get cold pretty quick. They did yesterday too, but it is what it is. I took the ice out of it, so all there's the water left, but it's cold. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. Filling this guy up and going up and down makes it a little easier. Hey guys, that came out just about right. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's right there at the top. That's right where I wanted it to be. I could have made a little bit more, but not much more. So we got, what, like maybe 7-8 inches there to do toward the top. And we'll do that, finish that off the next time we do this. And I'm excited about that because this has been going on a while. Then we can get to finishing it off. Get this wood stove on there, get some pipe up, and it can be done.
All right, let's go back in here and see how this is looking. I gotta take my sweater off. I started sweating doing that job. This looks like it's dried up and ready for me to go. All right, guys, this started on the shelving. Right before I started, I looked down here and I thought, you know what, this is covering up to this point, so I went ahead and put one more layer of sealant because it's got to be kind of hard to get under there. I'm even considering, you know, it's, I don't know if you can see this or not, but right here, it's a little bit of a gap underneath. I'm not sure if I want to leave that so that we can sweep under that, or is that going to be such a collector that maybe I should seal down at the bottom, down to the floor. So, I don't know. That's something we can do later and figure out. Next step is putting these guys like this, and then I make sure I'm a 1/2 inch. In fact, I'm thinking about the way I did the other shelf was putting a 1/2 inch out to here, and I don't know if they probably can put a strip of drywall there on that 2x4. If not, then I'll have to put some kind of a strip there, and I don't know if I would rather this be back here and then I'll just cover the whole thing like this. That might be a good idea. All right, well, something to think about. Hold on a second. Okay, guys, I came up with this solution, but it doesn't work because there's going to be a gap here. I've texted the drywaller to see if they would be able to drywall just these studs. He hasn't got back to me. So what I think I'm going to do is I'd already put this one in with a 1/2 inch here. I think I'm going to go ahead and keep doing this like this. These coming out for an option of drywall here. And if they can't drywall here, then I'll do one of two different things. Either I'll rip something like these, just this width, and stick it in here, or I'll rip something that will go cover these, but it's gonna have to be cut around each one of these, so that there's no stud left uncovered. Because if I just go up to here and then there's a board going across here, there's going to be a little space where the stud is revealed. So I think I'm just going to do this, and then we'll figure out later what we'll do from there, what we're going to cover these studs with. Also over here on the door frame, this will be trimmed out at least to here, but when these boards come together, they're going to be, let's take these two small ones, they're going to be 45 like this. They're not going to fit nicely together. As you can see, like this. So I'll have to do some fancy cutting there for them to look nice to go against each other. And then I would have to find something, I would have to rip something to go up here if they can't drywall this. If they can drywall this up to this point, then I might, and they can drywall these studs, that might end up being my best option. Again, I'm a DIY beginner. I don't have experience in these things, so I can't just jump to, oh yeah, I can see into the future and I know how everything works and it'll be best this one way or the other. So I'm going to go ahead and keep on doing this way because this is how I did the other ones. And we'll figure out what we're going to do with this later. All right, I keep figuring out things that aren't going to work. When I just now stated that I'm going to go ahead and do it like this, then I thought, oh wait, these are not 1/2 inch like the drywall. These are 3/4 inch. And sure enough, if I were to fill this in, now I'm going to have this poked out. And it's not going to be flush. So I have to decide, am I okay with that or not? That, or I go ahead and come on out 3/4 inch, so that if I end up having to go with this, it would come flush. And if we end up going with drywall, it'll be sunk in from here a little bit. Well, I'm going to keep on thinking about this. It kind of stinks having to do that because I'm not getting anything done. This day is going to end up being a lot shorter than I thought it was.
I thought I had plenty more wood, but I made a mistake. So I cut about 4 or 5 lengths. I cut them too short, too narrow, because I came up with a plan, and I didn't even understand my own plan, I guess. I had these ones that were cut this length, this width, and then I thought, oh, I'm going to just put a board across here, so I end up cutting them down to here, but then I forgot these ones stick out, so it wouldn't have worked. You would have had just this covered, and then these, it wouldn't have looked right. You want it completely boxed in. I had text the drywall guy that I still haven't got a quote from, but I had asked him if this was a 1/2 inch out, if they could drywall these, just these simple 2x4s, and he didn't respond for a long time. So I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna create my own, and I'll rip something this wide and do one long strip all the way up the top, and it'd fit in there, and it'd box this out nicely. But that meant this had to come out 3/4 inch. And then after I got this all in, he texted me that, yeah, no problem, we can drywall this thing. So I have to decide, do I want to let him drywall this, and then it's going to be not even with this, it's going to be indented on over there too, or do I want to go ahead and just take this, my original one? I think that's what I'm going to do. It's going to cost me a little bit more money, but I think it'll look better. And I think no matter what his bid is, they do this or they don't do this, it's still going to be the same amount of money, unfortunately. It's not going to say, oh, now that we don't have to do that, that'll save you a couple bucks. No, it's... And then over here too, I can put a something to here, and then trim out to here. So I think what I have to focus on for now is just building these up, and then we can make our decision for this, and this later. The thing is I ran out of this stuff because I destroyed a few pieces. I still would have only made it up to here, I guess. You know, a couple of boxes up, and then I would have ran out. But now I need to go buy some pieces. So, it is what it is. At least I got the concrete done behind some concrete done. I got this sealed. Just got a couple things done. So, I'm going to measure this off and see what I need. And probably take a little trip to Home Depot. I was going to have to leave early today anyway, because I'm supposed to take care of my grandson for about an hour this afternoon. So, anyway, let me get this taken care of. Alright, I was getting ready to go, but I wanted to see what's Diego been doing down here. He's trying to fix this so that they don't have so much mud in here. As soon as we disturbed the soil and cleaned up everything, it became a mud pit. It just collects mud or water. So it looks like he's put in a drain pipe. He did not put perforated pipe, which is interesting. I'm not quite sure what he's got going on under here. I asked him if he put perforated pipe. It's not perforated pipe. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. He's got another pipe over here. This is not perforated either. I don't know what he's got going on here. Maybe he's just it feels like all he's done is basically this is going to be a diversion. Water goes down, hits this. Oh, and he's got water going into this pipe, so he's diverting it into the pipe. Alright, that makes a little more sense. That's an interesting idea. I still, if I was him, would have put perforated pipe. So everything that's sinking into the ground here would have went into the pipe. He's got this going on as well. He's a pretty smart kid. He's figuring some stuff out. And then I think he's got that that other drain pipe's coming off of here. This is the concerning thing for me is you got to keep this clean, or you're just going to have a lot of dirt going in here, and then you're going to end up filling up your pipe. That's why when I put my drain system around that house, I took perforated pipe and wrapped it in cloth a few times so it'll keep out the dirt, but it can still absorb into the pipe. But he's doing what he thinks is best and figuring stuff out. So anyway, again, the RV is going to sit somewhere in here, and he's just trying to get all this cleaned out so that he'll have a outdoor space. I keep saying it's Niana's as well, and she's helped a little bit too as she can, but she's primary baby taker carer over. All right, well, because I need to go home and take care of my grandson also at some point here in a few hours, I ran out of the wood, so I am going to head to Home Depot and get what I need. It's supposed to rain tomorrow. I just checked the forecast. It's supposed to rain, but it appears that hopefully it's going to be done by morning, end of morning, so I can still come down here and keep working. The problem is my pieces are going to probably be at least 8 foot, and they're going to be sticking out of my truck, and they're all going to get wet. Is what it is. Hopefully it won't damage them too much. I mean, I used them on the outside for trim, and of course they got painted, but hopefully they'll withstand a little bit of wetness. All right, we'll see you guys the next time I'm out here, and hopefully it's tomorrow.